Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy New Year! Hope your year's going pretty well. First video of the year, I figured we'd bring a fun race from Iowa from last week. As you can see, pretty stacked field, a lot of really fast drivers in here, so gonna see if we can hold our ground. Managed to qualify 7th, and I'm just hoping I can learn enough and continue to move up as we go. So that's kind of the plan for this race. I was a little bit nervous heading into this one, if I'm totally honest with you guys. But everybody's given plenty of room down into turn one. I'm keeping a decent pace, and I'm giving plenty of room to the outside here. It's been a couple of weeks since I raced, so let's cue up the racing driver excuses. But I was given a bit too much room here at the start of this race, and I was pinching my entries and exits. But we can hear that the 15 gets into the wall a little bit and causes a bit of a stack up, but we're clear of it. And no caution, so that's good news. And now I'm finally in a good spot where I'm in this little bit of not quite clean air, but I'm not really in a hornet's nest either, which is really helpful. And really just got to bang out the laps and hope everything goes well. Coming out of 4 was getting a bit sketchy. You could see the gray truck back there gets a little bit loose and causes another stack up. And thankfully, again, I'm glad to be ahead of all that kind of stuff, and I'm also glad to not be starting it. And there's our first caution on lap 3. The 15 gets turned around. All right, so now let's do this restart. I didn't pit. It's too early, I think, to pit. Nobody else went in either. I do not get a good jump at all here. I don't know if I was just in the wrong gear or if I was just sleeping with the throttle, or on the throttle, not with the throttle. And the 7 gets to our outside. And still early. I'm trying to give a decent amount of room, but I'm starting to notice something here. I thought more people would run the bottom lanes all around the track. So this is kind of a surprise to me that the top side is working so well in the truck. So this is lesson 1 of this race, is that I had the wrong line in my head. I really want to end up being up top, because you can see I'm losing time, and now we're 3 wide coming to lap 10, so it's pretty early. The racing's getting pretty hairy. Thankfully, though, another caution came out, so I didn't have to worry too much about being 3 wide. Let's see what happened here. The 17 dives it down into 1, has to slow up a little bit, and then I guess hits those bumps that are right in that part of the corner and tags the gray truck and kind of kicks off an accident. But we're going to stack them up and try this again. Hopefully I get a better start. And, I don't know. It's a little bit better. Not great, but I'm not getting swamped. The 5 truck behind me here definitely thinks that I didn't have a good restart and wants me to move it, which I'm trying to do. I'm just a little bit scared to drive it down into the corner as hard as some of these other guys are doing right now. And some drivers behind me clearly have a lot more pace. So we're back in 11th, so I've lost a few spots already, and it looks like we're going to continue to lose a few places as I'm fighting with the 22 again. And man, those bumps are so hellacious. It's just sometimes they throw the truck and sometimes it grips, and you kind of don't know what's going to happen. But I'm still pinching the entry into turn 3 way too much, which is really slowing me down. So I really need to work on that. That's 2 lessons learned already for this race. The most important thing I'm trying to do is keep the tires on it, because it gets a little bit loose coming out of this corner, as you can see, and then you can really drive the right front off in this end of the track. So I'm just trying to keep the tires on it. 5's going to make a move, put 3 wide, and I'm going to hold low. And for some reason, I go way too low. I don't know why I gave this much room, but I did. And I didn't know if I was going to make it into 1 properly, but I went slow enough, got into 1. Everything's good to go. But I'm still losing spots. They are 3 wide ahead, though. I'm kind of glad not to be in that mess currently. But as everything starts kicking up, there's another caution, so let's see what happened real fast. It's those bumps again. The 15 goes in, just gets a little bit tight on those bumps and happens to tag the 14. Just an unfortunate fight. But they show displeasure to each other here and kind of brake check and let everybody know that they're not happy with each other. So stay away from these 2. I did pit during this caution, though, so I've got 4 fresh tires on it. We got new shoes on the truck and still botched the restart. You'd think I'd be good at them by now, considering how this is the, 4th one. But wow, maybe it's a good thing I didn't get a good start, because something really kicks off ahead of us and thankfully make it through that wreck. And now it's time to restart another time. Please don't take a drink every time we restart. You'll be plastered by the end of the video. I mean, or do. I'm not going to judge. Finally get a good restart, though. Something finally clicked with me. I'm in the top lane. I'm where I want to be now. And I've got the one truck to my inside, and that's Larry Pace, and I know he's fast. So my goal here is to just try to keep up with him. And I get a really good run coming out of 4 on the top side, so this is good. Something's clicked. I'm actually able to push the truck now and feel confident with where it's going. And it feels like I've gained some speed. I'm not losing these trucks ahead, but I've still got Larry on my inside kind of looking. So I want to give him room, but I also don't want to lose this top lane, because it feels pretty good up here. So we're closing in on about halfway now, and they're starting to fight pretty good up ahead. So trying to maintain some patience here. I don't want to push too hard and wear my truck out, because these guys are all fighting. If I'm playing my cards right, they'll wear each other out. But if I can put the pressure on them and make them keep fighting, that could be in my best interest. So that's kind of the game plan right now. I don't know if I've got the speed to just flat out run them down and go past them. So I've got to do a little bit of racing with the old brain here. And Larry decides that he's going to go. He's going to start making moves and marching his way up towards the front, which is fine. If he wants to get by me and maybe open up some gaps that I can follow him through, that'd be about perfect. I would love for that to happen. So try to let him go on by. I don't fight it too hard. Now we've got the 17 coming up. Now I've been watching him in the rearview mirror, and he's got a pretty decent pace going on. He was slowly catching me off this restart. He had made a couple of passes, and I was watching his name kind of jump up the relative. So I knew he was coming. And right about here is where he's a lot stronger in 1 and 2 than I am. And he gets the move done. I think we've skipped a couple laps here, so now we're side by side. So now the fight is on. They're still 3 wide ahead of us, making a light bit of contact with each other. And I'm willing to start fighting now. We're in the back half of the race. White truck just about tags the wall up there. And the 17's pushing pretty hard. But I think I've got the better lane to allow me to save tires, because I'm not having to crank on the steering wheel too bad. But I've got to do a lot more work with the right foot. It's a tight race. We're pushing pretty hard. I can only guess that his McDonald's franchise there specializes in smoked meats of a certain kind. But he's doing a great job racing. It's really fun to race door to door with him. I think I'm finally going to get clear here, but I kind of misjudged it, and I did chop his nose off, so I owed him an apology after that. We were cool, but thank you, 17, for giving me room and not running me over there and making my mistake really costly. So big appreciate for that. Still moving along here, fighting with the 22. I feel like I've got more pace, more speed than the 22. I just can't find a way around. But I am looking ahead here, and I'm still concentrating on the one truck, the orange number 1 of Larry Pace. We're getting through traffic at roughly the same rate right now, so I feel like he knows what he's doing more than I do. And as long as he's not running away from me, then we're good. And I'm not running him down, so I'm not burning my truck up too much. So I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm sitting right now. We are back in 11th, but if everything goes green, I think I can get a few more spots as people start wearing their tires and things out. I am getting a bit patient behind the 22, and I try to make it work around the outside and force the issue, but it just about does not pay off. So I'm going to have to try something a little bit different here. So I'm stronger on the exit of 2, so I'm thinking maybe if I can set up a pass for this next coming lap down on that end of the track, that might work. I expected him to go a little bit lower for some reason right there, and thought maybe I could squeeze it around the outside again. But here it is. I'm going to have to try to do something. I brake a little bit early, try to get the truck to nose and turn down, and I can just about get beside him. There, okay, good. Now I'm where I want to be. I've at least got a position I can kind of control his lane a little bit, but I'm still giving so much room. I'm pinching that exit, or that entry, so much. Exit's a little bit better, though, but he still has more speed because that top side carries just tons of momentum. Now we're fighting with the 22 and the 9. It's a really good race shaping up here. The 17 is not far behind me. He's still on my back bumper, so I've got to worry about him as well. There we go. This is kind of what I was hoping would happen. I guess I did a pretty decent job of saving tires in the first part of this run, so now it seems like as everything's wearing out, the top and bottom side of the track are a little bit more even. Depends on how your tires are wearing, but I've got plenty of tire left, it feels like, and I'm able to make some moves down low that I was not able to do before. So things are kind of shaping up. They're looking pretty good, as I'm pretty much gonna maybe get past the 9. Nope, not quite. Just doesn't have the momentum, but we're getting there. It's like an inch here, an inch there. So this race is mostly for 10th place. I guess you could say that this race is getting kind of in 10th. I can hear the groans from here for that pun, but overall, just a really, really great race. That's why I love Iowa so much. It seems like you get good races at this track because there's so many options on where to run. It's bumpy. It takes a good bit of skill and understanding on what the vehicle might do, and you have to have some quick reaction time. So just really, really fun track. But I'm about to complete the pass on the 9, or at least we're going to continue fighting, and another caution comes out. So let's see what happened back here. Looks like the 6 and the 15. It's those bumps again, man. Those bumps. There you go. 6 catches to 15 and spins him out. So this is kind of weird. I didn't know what he was doing. So he restarts in second place, and I wondered how. Watching the video back, I saw that when he pit, he didn't really do anything. Didn't fix damage, didn't take tires. I guess maybe took some fuel, but he's going to restart in second place on the outside lane with really old tires that have been spun out on. And he's in my lane. So what are we going to do here? He kind of goes early. Larry doesn't go yet. And that stacks up this outside lane kind of funny. So there's people going all over the place. I want to try to go to the inside, but I've got a truck down there already. I don't know where he's going to go. I get kind of caught up behind the 15 here, and I want to be so impatient. So I am, and I really try to force a move on the outside of the track here, thinking if I could just get there, I could get the pass done. But it gets loose, and I almost cause a big problem. I believe that's the 22 had to check up for me. Then the 15 hits the wall. That starts to wreck behind us. The 17 down there who we were racing earlier makes a good move and tries to get down there, but he spins out. We almost get squeezed into the wall by the 4. So now here it is. That was a caution. Here's our final restart. I have to time this just right. I don't want to get stuck behind the 15 again, but I can't pass him before the start-finish line. And I time it beautifully. Now we're 3 wide. I've got the inside lane. If I can just get clear of these guys, I can be in, I think, ninth place. The 15 makes a decent run around the outside. And then there we go. Now we're clear. Now I can focus ahead because I know that I've got damaged trucks and old tires behind me. I don't have too much to worry about from back there. So last lap of the green-white checkered. Got room if I can just get a little bit more speed out of the truck. It looks like I'm going to be 8th at this point, which is going to be fine with how this race has gone. I'd be perfectly happy with that. But coming out of turn 4, a couple people get loose. Like 3 different trucks get loose. And tries to spin down to the inside of the track. And let's take a look and see. Mayhem crossing the start-finish line. And that actually lets me finish the race in 7th, right where I started. So I definitely can't complain about that. But let's move on to the second race that I've got. This one was really fun. This was the Fanatec challenge that was at Charlotte last week, or a couple weeks ago, whenever you're watching this video. But this race ended up being a lot of fun. So I'm leaving the qualifying lap up here if you want to see it, but I felt like I set an okay lap. There's definitely a lot more speed in here. But watching it back is just kind of fun because I believe this is one of the cars that recently got a new tire model overhaul, and it feels really, really nice. You can feel the car kind of dig into the corner. and you can see it working here. Instead of the car just kind of sliding off as it's bouncing, you can actually see the tires really gripping up and doing a good job, especially right there. But yeah, so this race went pretty well. I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything. The hardest part around this track for me was definitely this back bus stop. It just, oh, it feels so weird and not great to get through. It's so scary because if you hit that second set of the turtles, it'll just throw the car sideways. So it's such a fine line to get through right there, and I'm not sure if I ever took it properly. But as we enter the final chicane, or the only chicane really on this version of the track, come across to set a 1:14.4, which I was pretty happy with. So to my complete surprise, that lap put me on the pole. And now I just have to do a good job and be consistent. So I take off a little early, and I'm going to try to get the jump on some people, and then I'm just going to end my racing career right here before the start-finish line. Got a little too overzealous on the throttle and hit too much of that turtle and committed a crime against motorsport. So now I feel like I've got to redeem myself. So I went from starting on pole position to I'm now last behind all of the Kias as well. So this has become a race of staying up front and being careful to now I gotta go. I gotta move it. At the same time, though, I've got to be careful because I'm getting through some of this other traffic and I don't want to ruin my own race by being way too aggressive trying to make up for an early mistake. So my game plan right here is I'm going to pick my way through the Kias. I know that when we get onto the oval section, I'll have enough power to pass several of them. So that's really what I'm banking on. There's a lot of jockeying for position going on up ahead. And now I can get a decent run out as we continue on throttle. The power of the CTSV really starts shining and we're working our way up, picking off 1 and 2 Kias. And looking up ahead here, there becomes another massive incident, which thankfully I'm not a part of. But I'm able to skate on through and gain a few more positions. I saw a couple Cadillacs in there, but let's see what happened. So the green Cadillac takes kind of a rough line into the bus stop, and kind of this whole chain domino effect happens where there's really nowhere to go once you're committed, and it just catches up a bunch of people, which it's so easy to do right there. But around the outside of the 19, slowly gaining positions, and I'm going to go a little bit too aggressive here into this chicane, almost getting into the back of the monster Kia right here. And so as we start lap 2, now I'm in 9th. So I've done a lot of work. Unfortunately, a lot of cars got caught up in that accident, but it kind of works out for me. It's kind of good for me. This has become a damage control race. So I'm going to look up the inside of the monster car, and we're going to make contact. Perhaps my move was a little bit too aggressive. Maybe he turned in. I'm not really sure. But luckily, I regained control of the car, and so that's one of those near misses that I want to try to avoid. But now the Kia car goes a bit wide and lets the 19 and I through. So we had just passed the 19. Now we got back in 10th. I got to pass him again. I get a little bit better entry back onto what is NASCAR Turn 2, and I'm able to get just on the underside of him. And it looks like it's going to be a drag race into the bus stop, and he goes for kind of like a side draft type thing. I'm not sure. But then we have shades of, if you remember this.
Oh, man. Again. Holy Toledo. Well, you hit those turtles, and you literally fly in the air.
Remember when NASCAR had this terrible bus stop? That's what happens. The poor guy did the same thing. So never say that iRacing is not realistic. Because that bus stop is just as terrible in sim as it was in real life, and I'm glad it's gone. But I get a really, really good exit back onto the oval again. And I feel at home on the oval, so maybe that's why that keeps happening. But I pick off one Cadillac, and now we're going to work on the green car in the 15. Now, I'm unaware of what the green car did earlier, and he does a similar thing again through that bus stop. So I consider myself really lucky, but now we're in this tight pack. So I've got a car right on my bumper, the red Cadillac, and we're going to dive it down into this chicane, and everybody's going to be pretty clean here, it looks like. The car in front of me gets just a tad bit loose, and the red car, the 5 behind me, gives me a little bit of room. And we carry on through, and both of us get by the 15. Now, following the five, or watching the fives view here, I kind of go in a little bit too hard, and I miss this second apex really bad. And he gets a great move. It's a good drag race into this next corner, and I know he's there. I'm not going to push too hard, so I try to give room just so there's no more contact made. Because also looking up ahead, there's another car that has spun out and got right back on track, and the five in front of me actually did make contact with him, so now he's got a little bit more damage, but thankfully we weren't caught up in that as well. So doing good, using some brain power, what little I do have, and trying to at least make sure that the rest of this race is decently clean. Now moving ahead to lap 6. I'm hot on the heels of this other Cadillac in front of us, and I'm gonna get really cozy with that wall there. I'm going to hope to get another good exit, and we do, and it looks like in a courtesy move, he lets out of the throttle and lets us on by. I saw the exhaust pop knowing and that told me he let out of the throttle, so appreciate that. And now we're going to go down into this scary bus stop, which I always feel like I'm going to hit wrong. I don't know if I'm ever taking it right, but I'm surviving it. That's about all I can say. Now to lap 8, once again through the harrowing bus stop, and we get a pretty good run. The red car in front of me seems to get a little bit better of a run, or we're just about even. So I gotta tuck in, and I've caught up to him. I know I can make the pass. I'm a little better on the brakes getting into the chicane, and I'm hoping I can be better on the brakes in other parts of the track. So as we dive down into turn 1 here, I'm pretty sure this is also a courtesy move. I think he let me on through. I don't think he missed the braking zone. I think he saw that I had run him down and was just being courteous and letting me go. So also really appreciate that too. So now we're on lap 13. So this is a 25-minute race. We're in the back half of it now. There is a giant mess of cars ahead of me. A couple Cadillacs, mostly Kias. But then something happens. One of the cars kind of gets a little sketchy and catches another one, and there's another big wreck. This blue Kia is going to come back on track and do a decent job getting himself back online. But once again, avoided that wreck. So it's good. Everything's kind of working out now. It looks like I got all of my bad luck out of the way. Now I'm going to go around the outside of him here. That way I've guaranteed the inside for this chicane because that's what I really want. Catching the curbs nicely and avoiding those damn turtles. And we start lap 14. So I'm trying to look ahead and see what's going on. So now there's two Kias ahead of me and they are looking pretty racy. So I'm going to try to give them a little bit of room down in here. The monster Kia is going to go for a bit of a move. And are they going to make contact? Yes, a little bit on the brakes, on the brakes. Just avoid that, try to give them some space. I'm up to 5th now, so I'm okay where I am. This is going to be a good result considering how the race started. But now I'm trying to think, how can I get by them without being too aggressive? They're really slow through here. So I brake early and cut it down, and I'm going to put them 3 wide if I can and make the move by utilizing the Cadillac's beautiful power plant. And job done. So now I can set our sights on the car ahead, maybe for 4th place. So we've skipped here to lap 16, and I am hot on the heels of this guy ahead of us. The tables have now turned. I am now tailing the highway patrol. So tables have turned, guys. I'm riding your bumper. And we go into the bus stop, and I just about messed that up, but looking ahead, that guy also messed it up, so that puts me in 4th. So now I'm thinking there's actually a podium on the table here if I can just get by the highway patrol and not get a ticket. He took a lot of curb right there, but it works for him. And I'm going to get a decent exit. So starting to close in. At this point, my front tires are dying. They're not happy. You can see as I ride out towards this wall way more than I want to. But still got a decent amount of pace. And I'm just driving up to the back of the 6. I'm thinking, how can I get a move done? And I brake a little early here, but then he goes kind of wide, and I'm thinking maybe I can sneak in, and I don't. Unfortunately, we make contact. It's a bad move on my part. So I'm going to back off, let the 6 gather it back up. I don't want to make the pass like that. And that kind of messes all up through this entire complex here. He about hits the wall, I about hit the wall. But now there's some space in between us. We've both gathered it back up. Let's see if we can get this pass done properly. So now I've got the tow heading down into the bus stop. He's going to go defensive, it looks like. I'm going to take my normal line. No need for me to do anything crazy aggressive. And we're both going to just skate through, and I just about lose the back of the car right there by hitting those turtles. So he drives away a little bit. As we come up to lap 18, there's not much longer left in this race. I'm guessing 2 or 3 more laps at this point. Hard on the brakes into the chicane, and I can see this is going to be one of my strong areas of the track compared to the 6. So I'm just kind of feigning on letting him know where I'm going to go. I'm trying to stay out of his mirrors. I want him to be more worried about me and lose focus about what's ahead of him. So I'm just putting my car in position, and he goes a little bit wide through these 2 corners, and I'm able to get the nose in, and it's going to be a drag race into this next corner. I'm taking a bit of a defensive line. I don't want him to try to get a cutback, and it looks like it's going to pay off. So that's going to put us in 3rd place. So now if I can hang on to it, I've got a podium. I would consider this salvaging this race completely. So now, skipping ahead to lap 19, or 20 rather, now I've got to hold it. I've driven away from the 6, and I've got to be conscientious of my moves, not do anything stupid at this point. So I can see I got another Kia ahead. I don't know where I'm going to catch him at. I'm thinking I'm I'm hoping to catch him on the backstretch, obviously. That would be the best thing for me. I don't want to catch him in the corners. However, I am going to get a little bit close to him here. We're going to get slowed up just a little bit, but once again, using the brain, I know that I can get him on this part of the track, so I just need to be patient through there. Okay, so that whole section's done, and here we come, the last time through this horrendous bus stop of hate. And I got to make sure this isn't the one where I crash. So I'm going to go really easy through here. I'm not going to take too much speed. There's nobody behind me and nobody ahead of me, so there's no point in me pushing it that hard. And same thing for this last chicane. Here we go, driving it in, being kind of conservative, if you will, on the brakes and driving it out, and actually going to cross the line to finish in 3rd, get a podium, and completely salvage what was going to be a terrible race. So that was actually really awesome, and I enjoyed that race quite a bit, and I hope you guys did too. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like. That helps out a lot, and hopefully you like more of these in the future. I've got a couple more videos kind of in the works, and I hope you're all here for them. So thanks for sticking around to the end, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.